Yo, what is up guys? I am back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how you can raise yourself tons of Robux in Please Donate. Now this is a brand new tutorial, and all the tips I'm going to be giving in this video will be a little bit different than what I've done in the past. Anyways, let's get right into it. The first tip I want to give you guys is to always have a lot of buttons in the game. Now, as you can see by my stand, I got tons and tons of buttons here. We have like, I don't know, maybe even 100 buttons or something. I recommend if you're trying to raise yourself a lot of Robux to have a lot of buttons available, because the more buttons you have, the more different numbers you have available, the more likely you are to raise. Now, why do I say that? Well, sometimes people want to give you a specific amount. For example, they want to give you 120 Robux, and if you only have a 100 option and a 200 option and you don't have anywhere in between, then they're more likely to just give you 100 instead of giving you more. So that's why I recommend having options like 100, 120, 140, like small numbers like that, and having a lot of them, because you are more likely to raise and therefore you will get more Robux. Now, it is really simple to have little buttons and have big number of buttons and also raise Robux, but in the general case, I've seen more people raise more Robux when they had a lot of smaller buttons like this. You know, when they had a lot of buttons like this, I've seen them raise more than, for example, someone that has their lowest button at 100 or 1,000. But whenever you join a rich people's server, you'll see that most of them have their lowest button at 100 or 1,000. That's because they don't really care about receiving small donos. They only care about the big bucks. I mean, everyone cares about the big bucks, but if you're not really rich and you're not really popular in Please Donate, I recommend making small buttons since they'll help you a lot more. Now, this next thing is only for people that have a lot of Robux, and that is to have a really good ratio in the game. Now, for example, like me, my ratio is pretty good, but it's not as good as some people's ratios. So some people have really good ratios where they raise like 10,000 Robux and donated somewhere in the 100,000s or whatever, and they have so much donated to the point where they stand out. Now, you want to be in that kind of position if you are trying to raise a lot, because if you have a lot of Robux donated and you have very low raised, people are going to want to donate to you just because they see you have a good ratio and they think that you're going to donate back to them. The tip I got for you is to always use a stand that you don't see anyone else using in the game. Now, there are tons of stands in Please Donate, but if you use a stand that stands out compared to everyone else's booth in the game, especially if you're in a public server, that is more likely to get everyone's attention. Now, a really good example of that is the rainbow stand, which I personally don't have, but if you use a stand like that in a public server and you're the only one that has it, people are more likely to come up to your stand, and if you have a lot of people going to your stand, you are more likely to raise Robux, and therefore you're more likely to get more rich and get donated. Now, the next tip that you could do to help you out is to have colored text on your booth. This will make your booth really stand out, and it will really help you boost your popularity in Please Donate, which will potentially get you more Robux. Now, if you want the scripts to these colors, comment down below on this video asking for them, and if you guys are watching the video and you guys got the scripts, feel free to help the people that need it. And if no one comments on your comment and helps you out, I will try to help you out if I can and if I see it, and I'll give you guys the scripts that you could put into your text, which will give you color text in the game. Now, the next tip that would really help you in the game is to have a customized booth. Now, I wouldn't recommend using any other booth than expensive ones, but obviously if you can't afford expensive booths like the glass booth, the rainbow booth, the 1 mil booth, 100k booth, or etc., you could always use a booth like the ice cream truck, or use like some hamburger booth and do something creative with it. Now, for example, if you use the ice cream booth, you could always put on your stand ice cream shop and put all your game passes as different flavors of ice cream, and people might be willing to donate to you just because they're seeing something creative, and they might want to just give you a little bit of support by donating you some Robux. Now, something that I saw really help people out is back when they had events like the World Cup event, people were putting the World Cup booth on and they were doing Messi or Ronaldo having game passes like Messi for 10, Ronaldo for 20, or something like that. And something creative like that would really help you, because if people see something like that, they may be willing to buy the 20 option just to support their favorite soccer player. Now, obviously, that doesn't always work for everyone, but it has worked for so many people to the point where I believe that I should mention it, and it probably will work for you in the future if there's more events just like that. Now, a more recent event similar to that soccer one I just mentioned is like 2 brand new movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer. They are 2 brand new movies, and some people like one over the other, and you can take advantage of that by putting buttons on your stand. For example, you have your 10 button as Barbie and your 20 button as Oppenheimer. You could have on your stand Oppenheimer or Barbie, and people might be willing to donate to you just to cast in their vote. And that is always acknowledging when someone donates to you. Now, I've seen a lot of people in the game just ignore when they get donated. Whenever someone donates them like 20 Robux, they just ignore it like nothing has ever happened. Now, first off, I feel like that's a bit rude, because when someone donates to you, I believe that you should at least say thank you and appreciate that you got something from them, instead of just ignoring them, because that just doesn't feel right. That seems very rude, but some people still do that and they just ignore. I wouldn't recommend doing that at all. Now, even if you don't really care about the Robux, I would still say thank you, and I would recommend you do the same thing, just to show that you at least appreciate that they're giving something to you. Especially people that have voice chat, I recommend that you always tell the person that donates you thank you, just because if you acknowledge that they have donated to you, likely to keep on donating to you, just because they know that you have acknowledged it, and they know that you have received a Robux and you can hear it and you're actually there. Now, sometimes people might just be willing to donate to you a small amount at first, just to see how you would react, and if you give them a reaction that they believe is appropriate, then they might be willing to donate you even more Robux, just because first off, they know you're not AFK, second off, they know you're human, and third off, they know that you're actually appreciative for what you get. Now, the next part is really optional, but it does help out a lot of people, and that is to have a creative avatar on. Now, how does this work? Well, for example, my avatar is really creative because I came up with my own outfit idea. I have my own merch on, and I have a custom looking avatar that probably no one else on Roblox ever had created. Now, if you have a creative avatar almost like mine, it will help you out, just because if people see a really cool looking avatar, they might want to come take a look at your avatar, rate your avatar, and sometimes they might even donate you just because you came up with a creative idea, and they just want to donate you just because they think you look cool. Now, the next best way for you to raise Robux, and this has worked for me times and times over and over again, which is to always participate in events. Now, you may be wondering, well, what kind of events would I join? There are tons of events on Please Donate that people do, especially on Roblox voice chat. But if you don't have Roblox voice chat, I recommend joining in YouTubers' live streams and seeing if they're doing events and participating in them, because you could raise yourself tens, thousands, and even hundreds of thousands of Robux doing this. Now, if you want to join in events like that and you don't know of any, you could always join in the events that I do, because I do Please Donate events sometimes on my streams. Remember to subscribe so you never miss out on that. And in these events, it could be anything from doing challenges in the game, like first person on a nuke, first person to answer a question in the chat, etc. There's a bunch of things you could do in these events, and a bunch of ways you could earn Robux. Now, I've seen people do Please Donate events where they have legit asked people to answer questions like 1+1, and the first person to answer it in the chat receives 10,000 Robux. Now, you may be wondering, who would not know the answer to 1+1? Well, apparently a lot of people don't know, because last time I joined in a server, I asked what is 1+1, the guy answered 2. Like, obviously the answer is like 2,821. Like, you know, there's no way it's 2. Other than that, thanks for watching this video, by the way. Hope you guys enjoyed me explaining all these tips that will help you out, and Please Donate. If you got any other questions, like if I missed any tips that may help you, ask in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer them if I can. Other than that, I'll see you guys all in the next video, by the way. Peace out.